Claremont Community Primary School has developed a number of strategies that help with its 30% pupil mobility rate, a streamlined inclusion team, a holistics therapy team, and a children's centre. Claremont is situated in what was once part of Blackpool's thriving tourist industry.
Yeah, this was all boarding houses, or guest houses, whatever term you want to use. Now, as you can see, they're all flats.
What is now low-cost short-term accommodation houses a transient population of families.
A lot of people come to Blackpool because they've had a nice holiday here in the past. They remember happy times as a child, and they think that if they come to Blackpool, a bit like the old streets of London, they're paved with gold, and that whatever problems they've had in the past are going to go away and magically will be solved by coming to a seaside town. They have problems often with domestic violence. They could be fleeing debt. They've often done a moonlight flit from previous landlords. Sometimes it's drugs-related issues, sometimes alcohol-related issues. So it can be many, many things.
We all decided to move to Blackpool for somewhere new, a fresh start in life for everybody. It took us 3.5 months to find Dwayne and Miles at school. Dwayne's got ADHD and Miles is dyslexic, so I needed a school that could supply everything they needed, basically.
Let me pick another one. Miles, give me a number between 0 and 4. Yeah. 3.
If you imagine the class teacher receiving the children for the first time, they could have children who've been out of school for as long as 2 years. So that brings with it its own problems, because obviously they're out of the way of coming to school every day. They're out of the way of learning. They maybe have had no social contact with children of their own age anymore. So it's all those lessons that need to be learned. And very often the biggest impact is then upon behaviour.
To allow Claremont's 20 teachers to focus on teaching, there are 55 support staff.
The inclusion team is made up of teaching assistants. And the reason that we call them an inclusion team is because they actually started life as a behaviour team. And what we found was that that didn't work for us. We found that teachers then tended to use them every time there was a behaviour problem. And they would send the particular children to the behaviour team to say, OK, you sort it out. And we felt that it was much more appropriate to be renamed as an inclusion team, because their aim is to keep the children in class and to be as inclusive as we possibly can.
Each of the team of 4 is responsible for a year group, and their day begins meeting the children and parents at the school entrance.
How are we, boys? They're fine. Yeah, I've got them here today.
Many of our parents that come have had bad experience in schools. So anybody who can talk to them on their own terms, maybe visit their homes, maybe talk to them out in the playground informally, is a bridge to get that person in. It's a very, very important role to play.
Let's see then, so what are you good at? Helpful. You're a good boy. And
Friendly.
you're friendly as well, aren't you, Miles?
To help with the emotional issues of their pupils, Claremont has a holistic therapies team. Over 6 weeks, they run the Quiet Place programme, in which children referred by teachers or parents experience massage, learn relaxation techniques, and have creative therapy.
This little piggy went to market.
When we started this work, we had children who were coming into the school who had not attended school, and they very often struggled to learn. And because they were struggling to learn, they affected everybody else's learning. They were often disruptive, and it was clear that we needed to do something completely different with these children. And what we find is that by sending them on a Quiet Place programme, they have time out. They have time that's very special for them. They work with their parents as well as with the therapist, and it enables them to go back into class and learn. And until we remove some of the barriers to learning, We could invest a huge amount of money in additional teachers, in additional resources, in interactive whiteboards, but those children would still be unable to learn.
The Holistic Therapies team also have mentors who work predominantly on a weekly one-to-one basis with children who can self-refer or be referred by parents or teachers.
When they don't play with you and you're feeling down, do you talk to anybody about your feelings? Who do you talk to?
Haley and Miss Webster and the teachers.
You know, you can come and talk to me as well on anything that you feel down about or upset about, you know.
Depending on the child, really, what we do with them. Sometimes it's chat. Children like to come and chat for the whole half hour. Sometimes it's play-based, where children are more relaxed and we'll chat if there's anything they need to talk about. I will put an appointment in the register so that they know when they are going to come and see me during that day. It's not the same day every week because we don't like to bring children out of the same lessons every week because children can be manipulative and work it so that they come at the same time. Claremont class it with the same importance as both numeracy and literacy, and so we can take them out at any point during the school day.
Play with me and a lot. He tells me if I'm in trouble, don't worry, just come and ask me and stuff like that. If I'm getting bullied at playtime and stuff, I can go see him or Mr. Christie.
In addition to the Inclusion and Holistic Therapies teams, Claremont School has a children's centre to cater for the children and their families. It provides a place where parents can meet and access multi-agency advice and training. By 2010, it's planned that there will be one in every community.
I think the important thing with children's centres is that they're part of your whole school vision. It can't just be a bolt-on goodie.
Margaret Bamforth manages the centre.
Yes. We run this organisation as a badgeless organisation where there's not a perceived hierarchical structure, and I think that is a key ingredient when working with people and people in the community, that they feel they can come in and access anybody.
Hey, love, I've just called in to see if you've got any courses doing up with computers.
Yes, we do a computer course for beginners.
As a children's centre, we believe that the most important thing is the way in which we communicate and interact with the parents and children and families that come to the centre. And what we believe is that the approach has to be non-judgmental.
I will be in touch.
Okay,
Okay, thanks then, bye-bye.
Margaret shares the centre's ethos with Shirley Castile, a doctor shortly to join the integrated team of professionals that work there.
The reception area is one of the areas that we feel has got to be right and most welcoming. We've even thought about what the children will be doing while the parents are talking to Deborah, the receptionist, to make sure that they've got something to do when they follow the fish, and often do projects in the school and come out and check out the fish.
What the other professionals are now beginning to recognise is that because we have every child in school all day, for possibly 6, even 7 hours if it's an extended day, we know a huge amount about them that a social worker visiting briefly or a health visitor visiting maybe once every couple of months cannot pick up in the same way as we do. And being able to share that, I think, is a major quality for the teaching profession.
So I'll take you around and show you around the centre. This is Katie, who's our Home Start organiser. Katie supports parents and children who access the centre.
So, Jan, how did you get on with your boiler, with your landlord?
I phoned him up and he said that he were going to get a man to come and do it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I've had to ask for some radiators.
Right.
Because we've been cold on the night time.
OK, but you've got heating. If I go into a family and mum is completely overwhelmed, it may mean that I do take on a role of doing the first few steps. For instance, if there's immediate problems in the family, I may have to contact the relevant agencies for her and not expect to empower her immediately. Our long-term goal is to empower the families and let them do whatever they have to do.
This is a meeting room, multi-purpose room really. Perhaps if we've got Citizens Advice Bureau in, or they need somewhere to meet with parents confidentially.
You've given me a lot of information this morning, and we can have a look at some of the things we've talked about. What might be useful just before we start is to have a look at your income. The beauty of the Citizens Advice Bureau being available in a centre such as Claremont is the range of subject matter we cover. Although I'm funded to be here to provide financial advice, particularly for lone parents, we can cover the whole host of questions. We can look at benefits, we can look at housing, employment, and all sorts of issues. And if I can't provide an answer on the day, I can certainly direct somebody to the right people to talk to.
This is the health room, which is a room you'll be able to use to do your appointments soon.
Hi Laura, do you want to jump on the scales and let's see what the damage is? We have our healthy club on a Monday morning and we weigh people and monitor their weight gain, and from that they then go on and do a walk, so they're combining exercise with healthy eating messages. We do parenting groups, we do babysitting courses, we do cook and eat, speakeasy, which is helping parents to talk to the children about sex, and it just builds up from there. Health problems are sometimes way down on the list of priorities for people who are very transient. So I think having this centre here gives us the chance to target those health problems, allows us to do some really valuable work with them. Right, see you later. When you're based in a GP's practice, you can only see the patients that are actually registered at that GP practice, whereas here we can see the whole community, whether they're registered at a GP or not.
So this is the community kitchen, and this is where the health visitors come in to do the cook and eat. Groups of parents get together and cook a meal. They're thinking about making healthy meals and sort of preparing vegetables. And then also thinking about how do we sort of sit down around a table and get a family atmosphere, because some people maybe not have that opportunity, depending on where they live, they haven't got the facilities to do that. This is the family room where parents and staff sit together. Parents come in, get themselves coffee, a piece of toast, come in the morning. You can't wait, can you? Keely, Dr. Schnab's here if you want to see you.
Actually coming here to the doctor's easier than going, because my doctor's is all the way down South Shore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm still down there.
What we found through research with the parents is that the majority of people feel very safe in Claremont as a school, but they feel less safe in the area. And we feel that by having the Children's Centre as the hub, it gives them somewhere to come to throughout the year, not just in the term time when school's open, but through the holidays.
Next week, in the holidays, to do some fun days again on the Thursdays. Were they a good day for everybody? What we do offer is primarily grown from the parents and the families who access the centre, because I believe that if a service is grown from the parents and the children because it's grown out of need, then I do believe that that will be more sustainable for the future.
In the long term, we're actually developing social capital. We're growing a community where the families who have come to Blackpool as new to area are actually forming links with each other. They're able to talk to each other about the children accessing Quiet Place programmes and the kind of ways that have worked with their children when they've had difficulties. They themselves access courses to grow their own self-esteem so that they're feeling confident and able to deal with all kinds of difficulties that they're facing. And this is about them being self-reliant and actually growing in a community way, which they've possibly never had the opportunity to do previously.